what is the first step towards the happiness?
The first step is that we have to be present. We need to be present in our dimension, which is our body, and our energy, and our mind. We have to be present here and now, because this is what's real. You see, in life we are, all of us, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, backwards to infinity, you could say. All have had this attitude, you have the right house, the right dwelling, the right material things, your 2 1/4 children, or as it was medieval times, 5 or 6 children, because we had fields to plough. You have the right weather, you have the right everything, and then you will be happy. But if you look back through history, you will see everyone, billions and billions and billions of people have done this, and billions of people have gone the same way, discovered the same things. This is because they relied on externals for their happiness, not realizing that the source of happiness is within, and always has been. And part of that source of happiness is really, first of all, being in the present moment, relaxed, open, and aware. And to realize that every moment is absolutely unique, never to be repeated. It's fresh, alive. It's quite wonderful. Generally, while we are living our life, our body is doing something else and our mind is somewhere else. Dreaming about the past, that nice holiday in Marbella, Mallorca, or planning the future, Okay, I'm eating my dinner, my breakfast, or I have to catch the bus. Then when I get into work, I have to phone this person, that person. Then I have to change production line. Then we're on the bus and we're thinking, what time will I get home tonight, and what will I have for my meal? We're not really present. Caught up in all the objects of our senses, we have moved away from our center. And our energy just goes out, and then it gets dissipated, and then we become exhausted. Because we are constantly beating ourselves with the whips of hope and fear, all the way to our death. Also, we need to feel from within ourselves, without depending on others, we need to be able to access love and compassion, warmth and joy, which is really complete within us. It's our natural heritage.
When you say that the source of happiness is within me, what does it mean? I understand that it's not outside, but how do I find happiness in me?
We all have some idea of who and what we are. We think we know, this is me, this is my idea, this is my way of being. But if we really look, when we stop and we stay in the moment and we observe, we can see that this sense of I isn't something solid. It's something that's constantly changing depending on secondary conditions. Other factors, like, the I that sees his mother. When I'm with my mother, there's one presentation of me. When I'm with my brothers, there's another presentation of me. When I'm stopped by the policeman to be given a ticket for speeding, definitely there's another presentation of me. Yeah? When someone wants to harm me, then there's another presentation of me. When I'm presented with somebody that's very ill or dying, there's another presentation. Always, our sense of I is constantly changing, dependent on secondary circumstances. This tells us something. This tells us that this I, this me, is something that's constantly changing. We're not saying it doesn't exist, which is foolish, of course. We have ourselves. But this sense of I, this image, is something that's changing. But also, there seems to be something behind that. There's something behind that, that kind of wisdom behind that, And when we contact that wisdom, then that nature of that wisdom is the same in everyone. And our practice during these seminars really is moving towards that, towards our real self. Yeah? gradually moving, gradually opening, gradually becoming more grounded, yeah? More rooted, more grounded. And with that arises a natural confidence. But also, because with our practice we learn to struggle less. We learn to struggle less and to be more. Yeah.
You said that the path towards happiness is a long path. We are not able to change overnight. And you mentioned that we take gradual, that the development is gradual.
Yes.
That it can seem like a big thing, you know, to change my life completely from the state of suffering towards the state of happiness. Are there some small steps, or is it just that I have to throw everything away and start from the scratch?
Everything is gradual. We're taking a long journey away from what we really are. And in our practice at the Qigong, we start, first of all, we have to clean up the mess a little bit. You know, the external mess in our body. Because the body is the temple of our mind. So first we work on the body. Because if our body is a mess, our energy is a mess, and our mind is also a mess. So the foundation, first the body, clear up the blockages and restrictions of energy somewhat. With the energy, we strengthen it a little. Then this becomes a good support for our mind. Then we can gently, slowly work with ourselves, gradually. Rome was not built in a day.
How does it look like? How do I know that I'm on the path towards happiness?
I think in the beginning it's very difficult because you've been away from yourself so long. You've been away from being present for so long. So the first thing that happens really is that when you start to be present and more aware of the present moment, it's quite unpleasant to discover how distracted you've been, how out of control you are, you know, how much anger you have, you know, how much aggression, how much pride, how much jealousy, how much attachment. It can be quite shocking. That's why it can be a little difficult sometimes for people. We begin with a little generosity. Generosity towards ourselves. Giving ourselves, you know, a little time and place to practice. Then we say we practice a little patience. Being patient with our own faults. We all have them. We know when we started this thing, when we started to practice, we knew we were going to have faults. That's why we went. We have a problem. We are not happy. We are not satisfied. Life's a bitch and then you're dead attitude. So you knew when you looked, yeah, I have the problems. But what we don't do is beat ourselves up. You know, we suffer enough in life.
So if I decide to change my life from suffering to happiness, eagle in the nest is a good path.
You can guarantee that all those people who put in the time and effort to study and practice the Eagleness Qigong would definitely gain tremendous benefit in their lives and would become happier, more calm, more stable, more open. It will benefit them in their working life and in their home life. This is 100% definite.
It may seem to some people that they just don't have the power, the strength to transform their lives from suffering towards happiness.
Well, simply practicing the system will give them that energy, that strength, you know. And through practicing the system, automatically the self-confidence will increase. As a person becomes more grounded, more open, more aware. It's impossible, really, not to have this if you practice and if you trust the system and you trust its instructors and its teachers.